John Hyde Harris, the young English solicitor who came to Otago to make his fortune and rose to the top of Otago society before losing everything. John Hyde Harris was born in 1825 here in Dedington, a prosperous market town in Oxfordshire where his family had lived for centuries. Through his mother, he claimed descent from the first Earl of Clarendon, Edward Hyde, and that aristocratic lineage seems to have driven him to want to make a name and a fortune for himself. The colonies seemed to offer the best hopes for a young man of ambition, so after training in law and becoming a solicitor, Harris sailed for New Zealand in 1850. But why exactly this young English Anglican chose Scottish Presbyterian Otago is anybody's guess. He later denied having any knowledge of the settlement's religious characteristics as a class settlement. Travelling on the Puaktier, he came in cabin class along with a number of other young men of means. Their antics aboard ship drew condemnation from the Scottish patriarch George Hepburn, who makes numerous negative references to them in his diary of the voyage. Once in Dunedin, Harris set himself up in legal practice in Stafford Street, and he soon dominated the legal field in Dunedin as the only other qualified lawyer here left for Australia. When the middle-aged solicitor John Gillies arrived from Scotland in 1853, the two of them went into partnership. By then, Harris had already married Anne Cargill, the second daughter of Otago's leader, Captain William Cargill. This drew him into the inner circle of Otago politics, dominated by the captain's extended family. Harris, however, was always his own man and didn't mind opposing his father-in-law when, as frequently, they disagreed. This didn't hold him back, and he rose quickly through the political ranks until he became provincial superintendent, the top political post in Otago in 1863. He embarked on an ambitious program of public works and coped admirably with an economic crisis as Otago's gold-driven revenues began to decline. Harris also filled many other public and political roles. He was the district judge from 1859 to 1862, captain of the Otago Light Horse Volunteers, president of the 1865 Dunedin Exhibition, a leading Freemason, and a University of Otago councillor. He was also Mayor of Dunedin, a member of the Legislative Council, and Solicitor General of New Zealand, all at the same time in 1867-68. He lent his grounds for the first Caledonian sports to be held in Dunedin in 1863, and he also donated the site for the original Knox Church in Great King Street. Harris's political ambitions always sat uneasily alongside his aspiration to build a fortune, however, and right from the beginning he was a bold speculator in business. This was especially the case with his extensive purchases of land, making him one of the largest private holders of sections in Dunedin in the 1860s. This included a large block of land on the North Dunedin Flat, including the spot where he built his own personal mansion, which he called the Grange, after his home place back in Dedington. He then subdivided the land around it for sale. He also tried to develop the first private township in Otago, here on the far side of Lake Waihola, which he called Clarendon, after his illustrious forebear. But when the sections failed to sell, he lost £28,000, worth over $3.5 million in today's values, and in 1868 he was forced to declare bankruptcy. This effectively put an end to his political career, and he resigned as Mayor and Solicitor General. He created a trust, putting his family's assets into his wife's name, and returned to the practice of the law. He was unable to revive his fortunes, however, and he was even imprisoned for debt in 1885. Harris died the following year, leaving his estate valued at just £100.
It was a sad end for a man who had achieved so much, but always wanted more.